Most retirees don't realize this. The gap between retiring rich and retiring broke isn't how much you saved. It's what you choose to stop spending money on the moment you retire. There are 8 specific spending habits that wealthy retirees eliminate immediately, and most people have never heard of them. These aren't about being cheap. They're about being smart with the money you've spent 30 years building. I've studied hundreds of retirees over the past 20 years. The ones who run out of money share the same spending patterns, and the ones who die wealthy. They made these 8 changes, almost without exception. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which expenses to cut, and more importantly, which ones to keep, so your money lasts as long as you do. Let's get into number 1. Before we start, this is not about deprivation. Rich retirees don't live worse lives. They live smarter ones. They cut what stops mattering so they can spend freely on what actually does. One more thing. We're not talking about billionaires. We're talking about everyday retirees with $300,000 to $1.2 million saved, who figured out how to make that money last 25 to 30 years without stress. Thing number 1, rich retirees stop buying brand new cars. This is actually the video that opened a lot of people's eyes, because most retirees think a new car in retirement is a reward they've earned. It's actually a trap. A brand new $45,000 car loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. That's $9,000 gone in seconds. In retirement, that's 6 months of living expenses for many people. Rich retirees buy 2 to 3-year-old cars with under 30,000 miles. Same quality, same reliability, but 25 to 35% cheaper. And, crucially, they pay cash or use low-interest financing, never a high-rate dealer loan. Here's the math that changes how you think. If you invest the $15,000 you save by buying used instead of new, at 6% for 20 years, that becomes $48,000. One car decision compounds into a retirement income stream. The Holy Schmidt channel, one of the most trusted retirement channels on YouTube, did an entire video on exactly this topic. The data is overwhelming. Retirees who buy new cars drain their portfolios faster than almost any other single decision. The rule rich retirees follow: never buy a car that costs more than 10% of your annual income, including retirement income. On $60,000 a year, that's a $6,000 cap. Sounds extreme, but it protects your future. Thing number 2, rich retirees never buy timeshares or vacation club memberships. And if they already own one, they get out as fast as possible. Here is the reality of timeshares. The average upfront cost is $22,000. Annual maintenance fees average $1,200, and they increase every year. And the resale value, nearly zero. Many people pay companies to take timeshares off their hands. That same $22,000 invested at retirement, at 6%, generates $1,320 per year in interest alone. You could take a fully flexible vacation every year with that money, go anywhere, anytime, with no obligations and no annual fees. Rich retirees travel, often more than average retirees, but they use points, loyalty programs, last-minute deals, and off-season pricing. They get the same or better vacations for a fraction of the cost, with complete flexibility. If you already own a timeshare, there are legitimate exit companies. Avoid any company that asks for large upfront fees. Check the American Resort Development Association and your state attorney general's office for licensed exit services. Thing number 3, rich retirees never pay full price for prescription medications. This one surprises people, because most retirees assume Medicare, Part D, covers everything. It doesn't, and the gap can cost thousands. Here's what wealthy retirees do. First, they always ask for the generic version. Generics are required by law to have identical active ingredients. Second, they use GoodRx. A $180 branded drug often costs $14 with a GoodRx coupon. That's not a typo. Third, they compare Medicare Part D plans every year during open enrollment. Most people never switch plans, but drug formularies change annually. The plan that was cheapest last year may cost you $2,000 more this year for the same medications. Fourth, they use mail-order pharmacy for 90-day supplies of maintenance medications. Most Part D plans give significant discounts for 90-day mail orders versus monthly pickups. It's the same pill. You just order it differently. This is not a minor thing. The average retiree spends $5,400 per year on out-of-pocket healthcare costs. Smart medication management alone can cut that by $1,000 to $2,500 annually. Over 20 years of retirement, that's up to $50,000. Thing number 4, rich retirees stop paying for whole life insurance they no longer need. This is one of the biggest money drains in retirement, and most people keep paying it out of habit or fear. Here's the honest truth about whole life insurance in retirement. If your children are grown, your mortgage is paid, and you have retirement savings, you no longer need life insurance to protect your family's income. That was its job. The job is done. The average whole life insurance premium for a 65-year-old is $200 to $400 per month. That's $2,400 to $4,800 per year. Cancel that policy, if your situation warrants it, and redirect that money to your investment portfolio. Two situations where you might keep life insurance in retirement. You have a dependent child or spouse who still relies on your income, or you're using permanent insurance as part of an estate planning strategy with an advisor's guidance. Before canceling anything, talk to a fee-only financial advisor, not an insurance salesperson. A fiduciary advisor has no commission from your decision. An insurance agent does. That conflict of interest matters. Thing number 5, rich retirees don't let too much cash sit in low-yield savings accounts. This surprises people because keeping cash feels safe. But in retirement, excess cash is actually quietly losing you money every year. Here is the cash rule wealthy retirees follow. Keep 1 to 2 years of living expenses in cash or short-term CDs. Your emergency buffer. Everything beyond that needs to be working harder in investments or higher yield instruments. If inflation runs at 3% and your savings account earns 0.5%, you're losing 2.5% of purchasing power every year. On $100,000 of excess cash, that's $2,500 in silent purchasing power loss annually. Over 10 years, $25,000. Options wealthy retirees use for the money beyond their cash buffer: treasury bonds and I-bonds for safety with inflation protection, short duration bond funds, dividend-paying index funds, high-yield money market accounts. Not all stocks, a mix. The goal is not to chase returns. The goal is to keep your money keeping pace with inflation, or slightly ahead, while still sleeping at night. That's the difference between a portfolio that lasts and one that doesn't. Thing number 6, rich retirees almost never buy extended warranties. On anything. Appliances, electronics, cars, furniture. The answer is almost always no. And here's the data that proves why. Consumer reports and multiple studies show the same thing. Extended warranties are one of the worst financial products consumers buy. The average extended warranty costs $150 to $400. The average claim paid out? Less than $50. Who wins on extended warranties? The retailer. They often profit 50 to 80% of the warranty price. That's why the salesperson pushes so hard at checkout. Rich retirees recognize this for what it is: a high-margin upsell on anxiety. Instead, wealthy retirees build a self-insurance fund. Each month, they deposit what they would have paid for warranties into a dedicated account. Within 2 to 3 years, they have enough to replace most appliances outright. And they keep every dollar that doesn't get used. One exception: a manufacturer's warranty on a very expensive item, like a high-end appliance over $2,000, may be worth a very careful look. But even then, read the exclusions first. Most warranties exclude exactly what breaks most often. Thing number 7, many rich retirees downsize their home. This is the most emotionally difficult item on this list, and also potentially the most financially powerful. Here is what the numbers look like. Downsize from a $450,000 house to a $280,000 condo. After expenses, you free up roughly $140,000. Invest that at 5%. It generates $7,000 per year in income for the rest of your life. Beyond the equity release, a smaller home costs less in property taxes, maintenance, utilities, and insurance. The average American family spends $15,000 per year maintaining a home. A smaller space might cut that to $6,000. That's $9,000 in annual savings. Rich retirees ask themselves one question: is this home serving me, or am I serving this home? If you're spending weekends maintaining space you never use, spare bedrooms no one sleeps in, a yard no one plays in, you're working for a house, not the other way around. This is not for everyone. If your family gathers at your home, if you have a spouse who deeply values the space, or if you're already in a low-cost area, the math may not work in your favor. Run the numbers first. If you do downsize, time it strategically. The capital gains exclusion allows a single filer to exclude $250,000 of profit and a married couple $500,000 from the sale of a primary home. Used correctly, this is one of the biggest tax breaks in the entire tax code. Thing number 8, and this is the most important one. Rich retirees never buy complex financial products they don't fully understand. This single rule protects more wealth than any investment strategy. The products that have wiped out the most retiree wealth in the last 30 years are always the same type. Complex, high-commission products sold with confusing language. Variable annuities with high surrender charges. Equity indexed products with 40-page contracts. Leveraged real estate funds with hidden fees.
The rule wealthy retirees use is called the grandmother test. Before buying any financial product, ask yourself, could I explain this to my grandmother in 5 minutes? If you can't, don't buy it. Complexity almost always serves the seller, not the buyer. The simplest portfolios in retirement consistently outperform the most complex ones. Target date funds, low-cost index funds, simple bond ladders. These boring instruments, available at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab, beat expensive managed products in study after study. If a financial advisor recommends a product you don't understand, You have three options. Ask them to explain it until you do. Research it independently for 48 hours before signing. Or walk away entirely. A good advisor will welcome your questions. The wealthiest retirees I've studied don't have the most sophisticated portfolios. They have the most boring ones. Consistency, low fees, and patience, not complexity, is what makes money last 30 years. Let me show you what these 8 changes look like in real life. Meet Sandra and Tom, both 67. $620,000 saved. Social Security of $3,800 per month combined. They came to retirement like most people, with several of these habits still in place. Year 1 of retirement, Sandra and Tom were hemorrhaging money. New car lease, $650 a month. Whole life insurance, $380 a month. Extended warranties on 6 appliances they'd bought on retirement celebration. Timeshare they hadn't visited in 3 years. $3,000 in excess cash, sitting idle. Total unnecessary spending, $2,100 per month. That's $25,200 per year. Over 20 years, even without investment returns, that's $504,000 they were on track to lose to these 8 habits alone. Over 18 months, they made the changes. Bought a 2-year-old car in cash, canceled the whole life policy, exited the timeshare, stopped buying warranties, invested the excess cash in a simple bond ladder. The result? Their monthly cash flow improved by $1,800. Their portfolio started growing instead of shrinking. Their projected retirement length extended from 18 years, a shortfall, to 27 years of fully funded retirement. Sandra told me something I'll never forget. She said, "None of these changes made our life worse. We still travel. We still have a nice car. We just stopped paying for the idea of things instead of the things themselves." That's the mindset shift that separates rich retirees from broke ones. Not deprivation, not sacrifice. Just refusing to pay for marketing, habit, and fear, and redirecting that money toward real life instead. Here is your action checklist, the 8 spending habits to review this week. Go through each one honestly. You don't need to change everything at once. Even 2 or 3 changes can dramatically improve your retirement trajectory. Check number 1. Do you own or plan to buy a brand new car in retirement? If yes, run the numbers on a 2 to 3-year-old alternative. The savings may surprise you. Check number 2. Do you own a timeshare or vacation club membership? If yes, calculate the total cost over 20 years including maintenance fees. Then, decide if you're truly getting that value in experiences. Check number 3. Are you paying full price for medications? Download GoodRx this week. Check your drug prices. Then, call your Part D provider during open enrollment and compare plans. This one is easy money. Check number 4. Are you paying for whole life insurance you no longer need? Pull out your policy tonight. Ask a fee-only advisor, not an insurance agent, whether it still serves a purpose in your financial plan. Check number 5. How much cash do you have sitting in low-yield savings accounts beyond 2 years of expenses? That excess cash needs to work harder. Even a simple treasury bill ladder beats a savings account significantly in most rate environments. Check numbers 6, 7, and 8 quickly. Extended warranties. Stop buying them. Start self-insuring. Home size. Ask honestly if you're serving your home or it's serving you. Complex financial products. If you can't explain it simply, don't buy it. You don't need to do all 8 this week. Pick the 2 that apply most to your situation right now. Make 1 phone call. Check 1 number. The momentum starts with the first small action. If this video helped you think differently about one spending habit, please share it with someone you know who is approaching retirement. The earlier people hear this, the more time they have to make the changes that matter. In our next video, we're going to answer the question most retirees are afraid to ask. What is the best age to claim Social Security? 62, 67, or 70? The answer is more personal than most people realize, and the math might surprise you. Subscribe to Calm Money Retirement if you haven't yet. Every week, calm, honest explanations about the money decisions that matter most in retirement. No pressure, no sales pitch, just clarity. One final thought. Wealthy retirement isn't about how much you made. It's about how clearly you see what money is actually for, and what it isn't for. These 8 habits are where that clarity begins. Take care of yourself. You've worked hard to get here. And with a few smart shifts, this can be the best chapter of your life. We'll see you in the next one. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and does not constitute personalized financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making any financial decisions. Calm Money Retirement is not a registered investment advisor.